I, 28F, never thought I'd be in this situation. Last week, my entire world came crashing down when I discovered my fiancé Nathan, 30M, has been living a double life. We've been together for 5 years and engaged for the last 6 months. I always believed we had a rock-solid relationship built on trust, love, and open communication. How wrong I was. Nathan and I met during our junior year of college. I was a shy English major, always with my nose in a book, while Nathan was the life of the party, a charismatic business major everyone wanted to be friends with. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party. I was sitting in a corner, feeling out of place, when Nathan approached me with 2 drinks in hand. He smiled, handed me one, and said, "You look like you could use this as much as I do." We spent the rest of the night talking about everything from our favorite books to our dreams for the future. After that night, we became inseparable. Nathan brought me out of my shell, encouraging me to join clubs and attend social events. I helped him focus on his studies, often spending late nights in the library together. We balanced each other perfectly. When we graduated, it felt natural to move in together. We found a cozy apartment in the city, and I got a job at a local publishing house while Nathan started his career in marketing. The past 5 years have been a whirlwind of love, laughter, and building a life together. We adopted a cat named Smokey, went on weekend getaways to the countryside, and spent holidays with each other's families. Nathan's parents, John and Marie, treated me like a daughter, and his sister Lily became one of my closest friends. When Nathan proposed 6 months ago during a surprise picnic in the park where we had our first date, I thought my life was perfect. But last week, everything changed. It was a Tuesday, and I decided to surprise Nathan at work for lunch. He's been working as a marketing executive at a large firm downtown for the past 3 years. I picked up his favorite sushi from the place we discovered on our 3rd date and headed to his office. When I got there, his secretary Nicole, 25F, told me he was out for lunch with some clients. I was a bit disappointed but decided to leave the sushi at his desk as a nice surprise for when he returned. As I was placing the sushi on his desk, I accidentally knocked over a stack of papers. While picking them up, a small velvet box fell out. My heart skipped a beat, thinking it might be another surprise for me, maybe earrings to match my engagement ring? But when I opened it, I found a beautiful diamond necklace with a note that said, "To my darling Kara, happy 3rd anniversary. Love always, Nathan." I felt like I had been doused with ice-cold water. Who was Kara? And why was Nathan celebrating a 3rd anniversary with her when we'd been together for 5 years? I put everything back and left the office in a daze, completely forgetting about the sushi. That night, I confronted Nathan about what I found. He initially tried to brush it off, saying it was a gift for his cousin. But when I pressed him, showing him a picture I had taken of the note, he broke down and confessed. Kara, 27F, wasn't his cousin. She was his girlfriend of 3 years. He'd been maintaining 2 separate relationships the entire time. Nathan begged me to forgive him, saying he loved us both and couldn't choose. He said he never meant for it to go this far, but he couldn't bear to hurt either of us. I was too shocked to even respond. I grabbed my keys and drove to my best friend Arthur's, 29M, place. Arthur and I have been friends since high school. He was the one who encouraged me to go to that fateful birthday party where I met Nathan. Over the years, Arthur has been a constant in my life, always there to celebrate my successes and comfort me during tough times. When I showed up at his door in tears, he didn't ask any questions. He just pulled me into a hug and let me cry. As I poured my heart out to Arthur, more details emerged. Nathan had been using work as a cover for his other relationship. All those late nights and weekend business trips were spent with Kara. He'd even introduced her to some of his co-workers as his girlfriend, while others knew me as his fiancé. The realization that his entire office must have known about his deception made me feel sick. I've been staying at Arthur's for the past week, trying to process everything. Nathan has been calling and texting nonstop, alternating between begging for forgiveness and accusing me of overreacting. He even had the audacity to suggest we could try a polyamorous relationship, saying it worked for some people. But that's not who I am or what I want. I'm hurt, angry, and confused. I've invested 5 years of my life in this relationship. We were planning our wedding, talking about starting a family. I had already picked out my dress, a beautiful vintage-inspired gown that reminded me of the one my grandmother wore. We had booked a venue, a charming old barn that we were going to decorate with fairy lights and wildflowers. And all this time, he was building a life with someone else too. I don't know what to do next. Part of me wants to confront Kara and tell her everything, but another part just wants to disappear and start over somewhere new. I've already called off the engagement, but I'm struggling with what to do about our shared apartment and all the wedding plans we've already made. We put down non-refundable deposits on several things. The practical part of me is worried about the financial implications, while the emotional part can't bear the thought of dealing with any of it. My friends are divided. Some think I should give Nathan another chance, saying he made a mistake and clearly cares for me. They point out how good we were together, how he was always there for me, like when my dad was in the hospital last year and Nathan took time off work to be with me. Others are urging me to cut all ties and move on, saying that trust, once broken, can never be fully repaired. Arthur has been my rock through all this, offering a shoulder to cry on and a couch to crash on. He's been making sure I eat, even when I don't feel like it, and has been fielding calls from concerned friends and family so I don't have to deal with it. I keep replaying our relationship in my head, wondering if there were signs I missed. Did I ignore red flags? Was I too trusting? I remember how, about 2 years ago, Nathan started becoming more protective of his phone. At the time, I thought it was cute that he was planning surprises for me. Now I realize he was probably hiding messages from Kara. There was also the time last Christmas when Nathan said he couldn't make it to my family's traditional holiday dinner because of work. I was disappointed but understood. Now I wonder if he was spending that time with Kara and her family. I'm also dealing with the embarrassment of having to tell our families and friends about the cancelled engagement. We were supposed to have an engagement party next month. My mom had already started planning it, excited to welcome Nathan officially into the family. Now, instead of celebrating, I'm trying to figure out how to untangle our lives. What makes this even harder is that I still love Nathan. Despite everything, a part of me misses him. I miss our Sunday morning pancake breakfasts, our silly dance parties in the kitchen while doing dishes, the way he could make me laugh even on my worst days. But then I remember the betrayal, the lies, and I feel angry all over again. I know I need to make a decision soon. I can't keep living in limbo like this. But every time I think about the future we planned together, it feels like my heart is breaking all over again. We had talked about buying a house next year, in a quiet neighborhood with good schools. We had even started discussing baby names, half-jokingly but with an undercurrent of excitement for the future. Now, all those dreams feel tainted. I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust again. The thought of starting over, of putting myself out there and risking this kind of pain again, is terrifying. But the thought of staying with Nathan, always wondering if he's telling the truth, always looking for signs of deception, seems equally unbearable. I'm also worried about Smokey. He's been with us since he was a kitten, and I can't bear the thought of leaving him behind. But I also know that my current living situation with Arthur is temporary, and I'm not sure what kind of place I'll be able to afford on my own. Has anyone been through something similar? How did you move forward? Any advice on how to handle this situation would be greatly appreciated. I feel like I'm drowning in a sea of decisions and I don't know which way to swim. Update 1, it's been a month since my last post, and a lot has happened. First, I want to thank everyone for their support and advice. Your words have been a lifeline during this turbulent time, helping me gain perspective and find the strength to move forward. After much contemplation, I decided to reach out to Kara. I felt she deserved to know the truth, just as I did. We met at a quiet cafe, one I'd never been to before to avoid painful memories. I arrived early, my stomach in knots as I waited. When Kara walked in, I almost didn't recognize her from the photos I'd seen on Nathan's phone. She looked as nervous as I felt. To my surprise, she wasn't shocked by what I told her. She had suspected Nathan might be seeing someone else but didn't have any proof. As we talked, we realized just how extensively Nathan had manipulated both of us. He had been playing us against each other, using information from one relationship to strengthen the other. For instance, he told Kara I was his clingy ex who couldn't let go, which explained why he sometimes had to cancel plans with her. To me, he'd say he was working late or had business trips, when in reality he was with Kara. The level of deception was staggering. Kara and I ended up talking for hours, sharing stories and comparing timelines. We discovered that Nathan had created elaborate backstories and excuses to keep his double life hidden. He'd even gone as far as creating fake social media profiles for his work friends to corroborate his stories. The most shocking revelation came when Kara mentioned Nathan's family. She talked about his parents, Mark and Susan, and his brother Tom. I was confused. The parents and sister I'd met and grown close to over the years had different names. As we dug deeper, we realized that the family I knew weren't his real family at all. They were actors he'd hired to play the part. His real family lived in another state and had no idea about me. I was floored. The depth of his deception was beyond anything I could have imagined. I thought back to all the holidays and family events I'd attended with Nathan's family. The Thanksgiving dinners where his mom had taught me her secret stuffing recipe, the Christmas Eve spent decorating the tree with his sister, the proud smile on his dad's face when we announced our engagement. All of it was a lie. I felt sick thinking about how much time and emotion I'd invested in these relationships that weren't even real. Kara and I decided to confront Nathan together. We invited him to the same cafe, not telling him the other would be there. The look on his face when he saw us both was almost comical. He tried to charm his way out, but we shut him down. We laid out all his lies and manipulations, leaving no room for excuses. In a surprising turn of events, a woman at a nearby table overheard our conversation and approached us. She introduced herself as Rebecca, 32F, and dropped another bombshell: she was Nathan's wife of 4 years. They had been having problems, and she suspected he was cheating, so she followed him to the cafe. The coincidence was almost too much to believe. The four of us spent the next few hours unraveling the complex web of lies Nathan had spun. Rebecca had their young son at home, a 3-year-old boy Nathan had never mentioned to either Kara or me. Kara revealed she was pregnant, though she hadn't told Nathan yet. And I was the unsuspecting fiancé, planning a wedding that was never going to happen. Nathan had crafted completely separate lives with each of us, using his charm and our trust to maintain his deceptions. After Rebecca left to process everything and check on her son, Kara and I decided to take action. We went to Nathan's workplace and informed his boss about his deceptions, as he had been using company time and resources to maintain his multiple relationships. We learned that he had been embezzling money from the company to fund his elaborate double life. He was fired on the spot and escorted from the building. As for me, I've moved out of our shared apartment and am staying with Arthur while I look for a new place. Arthur has been incredibly supportive, helping me pack and even confronting Nathan when he tried to come around. He's been a true friend, always there with a listening ear or a much-needed distraction when things get too overwhelming. I'm still processing everything, but I feel stronger every day. I've started individual counseling to work through my trust issues and heal from this betrayal. My therapist has been helping me understand that Nathan's actions are a reflection of his character, not my worth. It's a slow process, but I'm learning to trust myself again. I'm also focusing on my career and have taken on a big project at work to keep myself busy. My boss has been understanding about the situation and has given me the flexibility I need to deal with the legal and emotional fallout of Nathan's deceptions. Kara, Rebecca, and I have formed an unexpected support system for each other. We meet regularly to talk and help each other heal. It's been therapeutic to have people who truly understand what I'm going through. We're even considering starting a support group for others who have experienced similar betrayals. I've also had to deal with the fallout with Nathan's fake family. I reached out to them, and to my surprise, they were horrified by what Nathan had done. The woman who played his mother broke down in tears, saying she had grown to care for me like a real daughter. While it's painful to know these relationships were built on lies, their genuine remorse has been somewhat comforting. As for Smokey, I couldn't bear to leave him behind. He's now living with me at Arthur's place, bringing some much-needed comfort and normalcy to my life. Arthur, who's always been more of a dog person, has surprised me by bonding with Smokey. It's heartwarming to see them curled up together on the couch. The road ahead is still uncertain, but I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm learning to trust my instincts and value myself more. This experience has been painful, but I'm determined to come out stronger on the other side. I'm rediscovering old hobbies and interests that I had put aside during my relationship with Nathan. I've started writing again, something I loved in college but had forgotten about in recent years. I know the healing process won't be quick or easy, but for the first time since this all began, I feel hopeful about the future. Thank you all again for your support and advice. It truly has made a difference. Update 2. It's been 3 months since my last update, and life has taken some unexpected turns. I'm writing this from a small cafe in Barcelona, where I've been for the past month. The smell of fresh pastries and strong coffee fills the air, and the chatter of locals in rapid-fire Spanish creates a soothing background noise as I type this on my laptop. After the dust settled from the Nathan situation, I threw myself into work. I was pulling long hours, taking on extra projects, anything to keep my mind occupied. I redesigned our company's entire marketing strategy, organized a successful book launch event, and even started mentoring a new intern. My boss was thrilled with my productivity, but Arthur noticed I was running myself ragged. About a month ago, as I was working late at the office for the 5th night in a row, Arthur showed up with takeout from our favorite Thai place. As we sat eating pad Thai at my desk, he gently suggested I take a sabbatical. At first, I dismissed the idea. How could I just up and leave? But the more I thought about it, the more appealing it became. I had some savings, and to my surprise, my company has a generous leave policy. They even encouraged it, saying I'd come back with fresh perspectives. So, in a moment of spontaneity I haven't felt since the Nathan ordeal, I booked a one-way ticket to Spain. This trip has been transformative. I've been exploring the winding streets of Barcelona, practicing my rusty Spanish, and doing a lot of self-reflection. I visited the stunning Sagrada Familia, spent hours getting lost in the works at the Picasso Museum, and enjoyed countless sunsets on the beach. I've also started writing a book about my experiences. It's something I've always wanted to do but never had the courage to start. The words have been flowing out of me, a cathartic release of everything I've been through. Who knows, maybe one day I'll actually publish it. As for Nathan, he's become a distant memory. The last I heard, he's facing legal troubles. Rebecca filed for divorce and is seeking full custody of their son. The company Nathan worked for is pressing charges for embezzlement. Kara decided to keep her baby and is doing well with the support of her family. We still check in with each other occasionally, united by our shared experience. Arthur and I have been in constant contact throughout my trip. He's been my sounding board, my virtual tour guide, and my link to home. We video chat almost every day, and he's always eager to hear about my latest adventures. He even helped me research some of the historical sites I visited, sending me interesting facts and stories about each place. About 2 weeks ago, during one of our video calls, Arthur confessed that he's had feelings for me for years. I was sitting on the balcony of my rented apartment, the lights of Barcelona twinkling behind me, when he told me. I was surprised at first, but as I thought about it, I realized those feelings might be mutual. Arthur has been my rock through this whole ordeal, and I can't imagine my life without him. But I'm also scared. After what happened with Nathan, the idea of starting a new relationship is terrifying. We've agreed to take things slow and see where this goes when I return. It's both exciting and scary to think about starting a new relationship, but I trust Arthur completely. I've also reconnected with old friends and made new ones here in Barcelona. There's a group of expats I meet up with regularly, and their stories and perspectives have broadened my horizons. I've met people from all over the world, each with their own unique experiences and outlooks on life. It's been refreshing to step out of my comfort zone and connect with people from such diverse backgrounds. This journey has taught me so much about myself. I've learned that I'm stronger than I ever gave myself credit for. I've discovered new passions, like photography. I've been documenting my travels and even started an Instagram account to share my pictures. I've rediscovered old loves too, like my passion for literature. I've been devouring books in the local cafes, everything from Spanish classics to contemporary bestsellers. Most importantly, I've learned that it's okay to put myself first sometimes. I've spent so much of my life trying to please others, to be the perfect girlfriend, the ideal employee. Now, I'm learning to listen to my own wants and needs. I'm setting boundaries and prioritizing my own happiness. I'm not sure what the future holds, but for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to find out. I'm planning to stay in Barcelona for another month before heading back home. Who knows what adventures await? Maybe I'll extend my trip and explore more of Europe. Maybe I'll go back home and start a new chapter with Arthur. Or maybe I'll do something completely unexpected. Whatever happens, I know I'll face it with a newfound strength and sense of self. This experience, as painful as it was, has shown me what I'm capable of. I'm no longer the girl who let herself be deceived for years. I'm stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever life throws my way next. Update 3. It's been a year since my original post, and what a year it's been. I'm happy to report that life has taken a decidedly positive turn. I returned from my European adventure with a fresh perspective and a completed manuscript. My time in Barcelona stretched into a 3-month journey across Europe. I visited the romantic canals of Venice, the historic streets of Prague, and the lush countryside of Ireland. Each place left its mark on me, shaping my story and my outlook on life. To my surprise and delight, a small publishing house showed interest in my book. After some back and forth and a lot of editing, Double Lives, a story of love, betrayal, and self-discovery hit the shelves last month. The response has been overwhelming. I've received messages from readers all over the world who have been touched by my story. Some have shared their own experiences with betrayal, while others have told me how my journey inspired them to make changes in their own lives. I've even been invited to do a small book tour. Next month, I'll be traveling to 5 cities across the country, doing readings and signings. It's scary and exciting all at once. The thought of standing in front of a room full of people, sharing my most vulnerable moments, is nerve-wracking. But it's also incredibly empowering. I'm no longer hiding from my past, I'm using it to connect with others and hopefully make a difference. On the personal front, Arthur and I decided to give our relationship a shot when I returned from Europe. We took things slow at first, both of us a bit nervous about potentially ruining our friendship. But as it turns out, our years of friendship laid a solid foundation for something more. We've been officially dating for 6 months now, and I've never felt more secure or loved in a relationship. Arthur has been incredibly supportive of my writing career. He was the first person to read my manuscript, offering encouragement and constructive feedback. He's been by my side through every step of the publishing process, from the nerve-wracking wait to hear back from publishers to the exhilaration of holding my first printed copy. Work-wise, I returned from my sabbatical with renewed energy and focus. I pitched a new project that got greenlit, and I'm now leading a team in its implementation. It's a literacy program that partners with local schools to encourage reading among underprivileged children. It's challenging but incredibly rewarding. Seeing the excitement on a child's face when they finish their first book is indescribable. I've kept in touch with Kara and Rebecca. Kara's baby girl is now 6 months old and absolutely adorable. She's found a wonderful partner who loves both her and the baby. They're taking things slow, but Kara says she's never been happier. Rebecca finalized her divorce and got full custody of her son. She started a support group for people who've been in similar situations, which has been healing for her. She's even talking about writing her own book about her experiences. As for Nathan, he tried to contact me a few months ago. He said he'd been in therapy and wanted to apologize. I appreciated the gesture but told him I'd moved on and wished him well. From what I've heard, he's still struggling to get his life back on track. He's facing legal consequences for his actions, but I hope he's getting the help he needs. This whole experience has taught me valuable lessons about trust, self-worth, and resilience. I've learned to trust my instincts, to value myself, and to surround myself with people who truly care about me. I've also learned the importance of forgiveness, not for the other person, but for myself. Letting go of the anger and hurt has been freeing. Looking back, I can hardly believe how much has changed in a year. From the depths of betrayal and heartbreak, I found new love, a new career path, and a strength I never knew I had. Life is unpredictable, but I'm excited to see what the future holds.